Good morning. I'm probably not using those right words. This is Lou. And sometimes you just look for the right word and they don't come. There'll be a few there and you got to choose. It's November 10th. I can't believe it. See, there's other things. That's what I was saying. There are other things I should be doing. Instead, I am messing with material and wanting to share. So I know those of you who are following anyway have seen my partial quilt. Mostly it's done. But it is true, Christmas is coming soon. I will never be done. But I have accomplished some things. Even though my quilt might look a little strange, it's really colorful. And hopefully it'll last many years. Meaning, sometimes you might miss being on the seam, when you're top stitching and you're doing that, excuse me, that binding. And then if your material's not down quite far enough like it should be, because I gauged my material exactly and I should not have done that. I should have left me some wiggle room. So you learn some things as you're going along, but I did learn, and I've seen some more videos where they're doing exactly what I did. It's hopeful we're going to just do it with a square. And it's always up to you what you do, how big your squares are going to be, or what are they going to look like. But I can see some really pretty things going on in my head because getting the right material. So I'm on the hunt. Not real bad, but I'm on the hunt for nice looking material that's not going to cost a frickin' arm and a leg. But I really love this material that I just got. And I have been washing and drying to pre-shrink the material. And I guess it's not just to pre-shrink it, it's also to get rid of a layer of chemicals that might be on it when they put the color on it. I don't know. It's just something I heard. Something to think about. So I found this material that I just really love. So I'm going to have to get some more. And it wasn't really too awful bad when you see the price of some of the other stuff. This, I'm not sure. I want to say, so I don't know. It could be $4.97 or $5.97 a yard. That's really not bad at all. Because I have seen some stuff that maybe I would buy, but it's $20 a yard. No. So anyway, I just have to find the place to go and get some specialty material. You know, like, I guess copyrighted stuff. In other words, Disney characters, that would be cool. I know that I can just use the colors of these teams, you know, for these people who are just totally into their teams. And anyway, incorporate those colors in a quilt, you know. It wouldn't just totally be those colors. Now, I overthink it. Yes, everybody says I'm an overthinker. So I'm just going to show you this material, but I don't want to pick it up. So I'm going to pick the camera up and turn it over and show you. And then it's still just a partial, like one fourth of it. Look at that. Oh, let's see. I don't know if you can see it very well because shadows. I think it's beautiful. I think it's plumb beautiful. I've got it folded to where I can just cut it. So I've already started cutting. I'm still, because I've got so many already, so many squares already cut to 6 by 6. That's what I'm doing. And I have decided to go ahead and do it like I've been doing. I'm just not sure. You know, it's by the time you get all said and done, you've spent just as much time. If you've got to make sashing and glue it in place and blah, blah. If you do it right in a sequence of things, it's not going to be that difficult to join these squares together and then bind them on the top. And then you're all done. I mean, you do the quilting as you go. If you're going to sew across it, like some will just do an X across the material from diagonal to diagonal. Excuse me. Or you can sew straight lines and then turn around and sew straight lines. And that is probably a good way. It seems nicer. But you do it like I just got through doing that quilt, where you have an inch all the way around. So like these squares that I have cut are 6 inches. So for the back, I need to choose the backing. That would be nice. And that backing is going to be the sashing, because that extra inch, you sew that together to the next block, and then you bind it on both sides. You need to do it as you go. I probably didn't do it exactly the way I should have on this one, because I did 2. I had it laid out to where it would do the variegated thing, meaning patchwork thing on the back, that which is close to your body. And actually with this quilt, you can reverse it if you want to, because I don't know why. But if you wanted just solid blue, it should have been a solid blue. That's what Jessie wanted. But see, I'd already made all these red ones and these blue ones, and I was going to run out of the colors of the material. And I already had enough. I still have some, but I don't think I'm going to be able to take them apart, because my eyeballs, I don't want to have to get down in here and try to rip this apart, because I would probably rip the material. And so my daughter came up with the solution that I needed. I don't know if you saw that before, but I had sliced the backing. It was on the edge, on the end, you know, going side to side. My row that I wasn't going to be able to use. She came up with such a simple solution. So I don't know if I've already told you. It's good to have other eyeballs. And then they tell you, and it's just so simple. And that was, you know, why don't you sew it together? I was thinking I should go out and get a patch, a glue patch. But that would have really looked tacky. And I said, it's for me anyway. But anyway, what a simple solution. So yeah, I took that and I sewed it together. And so it's perfectly fine. I'm going to put you down over here. So I have been cutting this material into 6 by 6 squares, since I already have so many that are 6 by 6s. Isn't that beautiful? I don't necessarily want to bind each one of these. And I probably don't have to. I have to think about all that, you know, because I'm thinking about the backing and the batting. in this particular way, everything is done when you move on down the road. But if you get ahead of yourself, then you might have a problem. Anyway, what I started to say is I have these 12-inch blocks, but they're actually 14-inch until you sew them, those 1-inch seams all the way around. It really encases it, and I can't use needles. My fingers won't let me. But I'm so excited about this color and this print. And see, I've got royal blue, which is really they're calling it lapis, which is this color. It's not quite the same, but then again, I think it's pretty neat. I mean, I think it will work. It might be too bold of a royal blue for a back of a quilt. And I don't, yes I do. Okay, I have some strips from before in here. Like this one. I'm not sure, but I think that might still would go good with that. You see? It's not necessarily what I would choose. But then again, I think that is that cobalt. It's kind of got the right shading. Ow. Ow. So I was only able to get this material in a 1-yard cut. So I bought 2 of them. But I'm pretty sure I'll end up, you know, like if I wanted to continue on and do quilts, if I get the knack of it. When I say the knack of it, I mean being able to produce. First there was that dreaming stage. But this is really cool. 6-inch squares. They should have been bigger. And it might be that I should lay out a whole bunch of different colored squares and just sew them together. Sew them together. And then you've got to put it to a batting and a backing. So, SCW. I'm thinking that I don't have enough material to do an 8-inch out of this. I want this on the front of the quilt, okay, because I think it's beautiful. So there'll just be all kinds of stuff, and it just depends if you want to stay on a blue theme. In other words, what do you want for the backing? And it's going to end up being, it's going to encase your squares. I don't know, I'm thinking that cobalt might be nice. And I think that is the cobalt. See, I've got some loud colors, and they would take away from the beauty of my quilt. Okay, so I'm thinking this is what they called cobalt. And there are some shades in these flowers that will match that. And that might be a better choice for the backing. But it would also be the binding. Are you getting my... If you watch the videos of my journey to this quilt, Yeah. It does take care of all the problem. That's something you can do a little at a time. However, if you get obsessed, I probably said that wrong, but obsessed, isn't that the right word? Oh, my shoulder hurts. Yeah, I went to sleep too late last night or this morning, and then I woke up early and ended up staying up. I gotta figure out how to go to bed. But when you got it going on, when you're on a roll, and you don't necessarily have that inspiration all the time. I wish I could take these apart because I could use these for my row. So what am I going to do with that? And so bright. I need to figure out what that stuff is. It's so bright. I need to put my glasses on so I can see better. And actually I need to go to the eye doctor and get some new glasses so I can see better. Anyway, I love the blue. That could be blues and whites and browns. Just depends on what else. But I love that. So what I've decided to do, so I'm not really using this size right now. That size is 3.5 inches. I decided 2.5 inches just wasn't big enough. Anyway. And I can change my mind all the time. So, just have to figure out how the backing will be. If it will be one solid color or if it's going to be blocks. It's probably better as one solid color. And it will bind, so it's going to frame each square is going to be framed in. And that seems like a lot of work. But then again, if you do it with the technique, which I saw last night, you know, you learn by watching other people. So I forget what the technique is. Oh, okay. Sewing in a fluid, and then you already know how big you want your squares to be. So you cut so many of that and so many of this other. But that is not the same blue. This dark color that's in it is not the same blue. It's a navy blue. But then this in the flowers has got some really pretty. It's got a lot of different shades of that blue. Like maybe a blue green, but not. It's just beautiful. The leaves are still blue. Everything is a shade of blue and white. So there's some white. My grandson, you know, he likes one of these blues in here. And he wanted some white. So there you have some white. Okay, so on 18. I'm going to go ahead and cut. I wanted to do bigger ones, but really, yeah, it'll be like one of my first ones too, just like the other one. I need to figure out how to best use what I've got cut up. But I figured to have just random squares, but part of it will be put together in a big old long strip of sewing, which in some ways is not cool if something breaks somewhere and it unravels, but it should not unravel. Okay. So I'm thinking, in my brain here, I'm thinking about the other side. And this is all the material I have left of this kind. And I cut up 1 yard. And part of this one, I think, to get these. I think they're beautiful. That's a flower, big old white flower. They're just gorgeous. And even the solid color, they just look velvety to me. I mean, there's no velvet in this, but it looks like it is. Deep color, I guess, is what the deal is. But even so, those colors do not match the background in this. But it's not going to matter because this is just going to be squares. Now, what I've got to figure out is what I can use for the backing. That would look good, and that's going to end up being throughout the whole quilt if you do it solid. But I still started with the 6x6s, so that's what I need to stick with. And it's already cut and ready to go. So we need to go to 12. What I'm doing is making 6-inch strips. So I can come back and make 6-inch squares. So that I can sew these with others of the same dimension. Like the stack of, I have a stack of already cut up 6-inch by 6-inch squares. But I figured I should probably get some more different kinds because I don't have that variety. Myself, I would probably like to stick with a theme. If I love blue. That's so beautiful and peaceful and lovely. Can you see it? Probably cannot even tell, but it is. It's really nice. Just thinking of it as squares. Okay, that's not cut. Okay. Excuse me. But see, if I had plenty, which I know I should be able to get more, I could use the same material for part of the back. But it would be too much if I had to control it. Like if I had to have a design, because that means the backing changes all the time, which also means when you're binding it on the front, you're going to have different color frames. Could be nice. It depends on what you want. Just depends on what you want. come up here to 18 again. I should not get too carried away, but I do. Because I know that's going to make a nice square. And I don't think I want to go bigger because I am going to bind it. It's going to stay at 6 inches. I have a lot to learn. But anyway, whatever's going to be the backing is going to be an 8 by 8, whereas my squares are 6 by 6. So the backing will be cut 2 inches wider and 2 inches taller. So it'll have an inch all the way around for joining it. Okay, so let's make sure I'm on 18. On 18, we're going to go to 12, which makes it 6 inches. I need to probably fold it up. Say, no, you can't cut anymore. But I just know that I'm going to want to use it because if I'm going to actually do a quilt with blocks, I have to have some different stuff. Otherwise, you just will leave it. Put 2 sheets of material together and quilt it and call it good. Do, 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 do. Okay. Oops. Hey. Anyway, I love this material, so yeah, so we'll have to go back and say, I want more of that stuff. I haven't actually sewn it. However, I can tell it's going to be beautiful. I don't really want to buy navy. I'm pretty sure that's navy. Okay, we're going to go to, no, we're not. We're going to go to 11, right? I don't know what we're doing. 16, so we're going 3, 6, we're going to 10. I've got to cut me some more batting. I'm pretty sure that did not. Somebody was talking about probably a bigger rotor than this one. All this stuff really is new to me, even though I started using it when I was at Dad's. Because I was getting into sewing, so I'm thinking that was about 3 years ago. 16. So I'm going to go back to 10. See, that's what happens, is I do the 6-inch strips, and when I get to the end, I've got, with trimming up the other end, I've got about 3.5 inches, like those other strips I've got. So that works out good. Well, I tell you what, that navy blue looks really good with all this stuff. I haven't been partial to navy blue, but all these flowers. Okay, let me see. That should be straight, really. Okay. 3.5. So we want 10.5. Wow, I made it through. So I have an extra, when I got down to the end, I have enough for a 3.5-inch strip, which matches these other ones. So I'm not sure what color that would be that would match so perfectly, because I almost think the blue is just too bold for that. And I do have black coming. I ordered cranberry because Jessica said, yeah, that one. So I ordered plenty, and then they canceled my order because I guess they didn't have it. But the next day they did. I had to keep. She wants burgundy, and I just couldn't find burgundy. But the cranberry, I guess, is close. But everybody's cranberry could be different, depending on where the paint comes from, I guess. Okay. I'm going to have my hands full. I like the colors that she chose. Shea Bear chose this one. Can you see it? But it's the swirls. It looks like it's got gray and aqua and white. It's really nice. And then here is a white with something on it. I don't know if you can see the print. There's a little bit of a print on it, but it's there's not a lot of it. The material I just cut, I used my hands to be the iron. It does kind of help. But I have an iron on order. I'm just not sure when it's getting here. I think it might be tomorrow. So when you get impatient, that's what I did. Anyway, so there's two materials for Shea. And this one, I like this one too. So she chose Prince. Okay, now I have black. She had she had navy blue, and then she was putting it back on the shelf and she was going to get black. And I'm going, well, I got black coming. So, I've already ordered black. So, black and these 3 colors. Unless she decides she wants to add, from what I haven't folded this up quite right. But it's been through the wash, so I need to get the strings off of it. Square it up. But I think that's what they're expecting anyway, is like the traditional squared squares. Not so big that they need intricate stuff. But that binding each square, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But you just kind of have to realize all the work that it's taking away. I mean, if you don't do it that way, you have to do it a different way, and that could be where you just couldn't do it. You know, like have a room big enough to put a quilting frame in, and put the whole thing out, the whole backing, and then the whole quilt batting, and then your squares on top of that, and roll it in. I remember when I was young, and the adults were doing that, putting quilts together. Got a lot of strings hanging. Do 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 do. So I'm not gonna get into her materials. I'm just putting them together for her, and I did run them through the wash. Well, maybe I did, kind of, sort of. I was in a hurry. I was getting them out of the dryer. I like to kind of line them up because they really should. They should fit. Except for, I know, when they are shrunk, which is what we were trying to do, they could shrink in different directions. Well, it looks like I had it pretty much done. But not. Well, I guess I'm off to other things. I got distracted, didn't I? Which is a good thing. I'll get off of the... Boy, my eyes are pretty bad. Well, I don't know what it's telling me. Okay. They're not telling me anything. Okay, sorry. Should have my glasses on too, huh? Something I need to get done. And my teeth. That's what I was saying. There's other things I should be doing, like making appointments. I should have had it done from the first of the year. And I got all this material, strap, something. Anyway, I'm not going to cut into this yet in case my mind changes. Just try to square it off and roll it up. Dum, dum, da, dum. Anyway, I just know that a quilt needs some variety in it. I need to go get a drink. I like it, I like it, I like it. So that's what I gotta figure out. Gotta cut off these strings. Being in the washing machine. I've got something to drink, I think, in the other room. Losing my voice. Do, 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 do. Yeah, I'll end up cutting this stuff off because it needs to be. The material will be trimmed. Material will be trimmed up. Nice. Yellow submarine. I don't know the words. Don't know why I'm singing it. Okay, I think that worked. I mean, it's not it's not totally up there, so I don't like how it worked. It worked from the bottom, squaring off the bottom, but it's, well, that's even. My Okay, stop singing that. You guys, that worked. Okay, cool. All right, so I had the edges going off at an angle. I was going to lose a bunch, really. So instead, I put it back together, like where it was cut. How it was cut should have been straight. So I put it there. The top angle, going across and on the side, squared up. Can you see that? I'm going to cut that off, this salvage edge. But anyway, I got it to go back where it belonged. And then the bottom looked like, oh, had a problem. But see, when I took my fingers down into the bottom on each side and pulled on it, it squared everything up. So, groovy. Groovy, groovy, groovy. I'm just going to be doing strips out of it for the most part. But I don't want to do anything out of it until I figure out what I'm going to do for her. And I've already got so many squares cut. I just need some variety to go with it. All right, I want to pull this. I want to pull this up. Yeah, I should put that over there. That is beautiful. Okay. Something I would have totally looked over. She liked it. I mean, that's what she picked. I was busy looking at other stuff, trying to find some cranberry. Because I ordered cranberry. Because Jessica said yes. That would work for her burgundy. But see, I was also trying to stick with just a couple of colors. And I've decided that no. We just need to pick a palette of colors that go good together. Or that they, that they would like. I want them to like it. All right, so I'm just trying to cut off some string. So there's not that much there. And I'm going to roll it up just like I did. And yeah, probably tomorrow I should have an iron. Once you shrink your material, you should iron it. So I'm just rolling her stuff up. And it is true, with doing the squares, and binding them the way that I just did this other one, so I'm going to do squares instead of blocks. I don't know what I was going to say. I don't remember what I was going to say. But anyway, I'm getting her material together. I have not ordered gray yet. And I think I need to order gray. And baby blue. I'm thinking that cobalt blue will suffice. But then again, I should check. There's a song playing in my head. Yes, I should be eating something. I'm feeling hungry. I also should be checking on my phone. Okay, I have to remember to check on the phone. All right, I gotta eat. Okay. I'm hungry. Okay. I think what I'll do is just roll it up. I forgot you were on. I'm trying to figure out what should I do next. Cut up all this material into squares. I better not regret it. And then I also need to go get the quilt batting and cut some more 6x6 squares of that, because each square is going to have its individual batting. That's what I mean. Just not sure, but I think I like it. I think. With the binding, I don't have to worry about making a sashing. I mean, it will be self-made. And so then the thing is to figure out, do you want one solid color for your sashing, which matches the back? The part that's going to be next to you will be a beautiful solid color, unless we make, we're going to be making patchworks anyway. But you could have the backing all the same color. And so then that makes the binding on the front all the same color. And then some of your squares can be this, you know. And then I have some blue and it'll be encased in whatever we choose for the backing. I don't want to mess with my brain too much to switch it back and forth. But what I have to do, I have 6 by 6 inch squares. So I have to figure out the color of the backing. And it's not going to be this. And then each individual one of these, I have to have an 8 by 8 square to go with each 6 by 6 for the binding. So you want to make sure it's a pretty color. It's the color that you want it to be. I don't think my royal blue matches. Do I have? I mean, really, it probably does for a certain purpose, but I'm talking about this color and this in a row. So I'm going to have different color squares. And they'll just be sewn together. And then another square of a different color or whatever. They will be just dispersed all through the quilt. But that's a lot of bindings. I know. I saw that too. They took, like, this square is a 6 by 6. And then they took the material, you know, like if I do have a whole bunch of 6 by 6s, so I could take some of the 6 by 6s and cut them in half. Okay, and then sew one to each end. Different color, like a blue or whatever, white, who knows. But anyway, you take and you split one of these in half. So then you're going to come along, say it's a royal blue, or it's a lapis blue, not lapis because that turned out to be royal blue. The cobalt was more like a baby blue, a dusty blue. It was real pretty. Anyway, it would look really good with this. Really good. So you just would, if you had a 6 by 6 square of a color that would go good with this, then you could cut it in half, sew one end on this side, and we'll sew one on this side, and then be able to fold them out. You know, so this is the back. This is the good stuff. This is what we want to show. So good sides together. I know I'm not using my right words, but, you know, the pretty sides. Then you're going to put a seam on it and then fold it open and press it. So yeah, I could take this, and instead of making the binding go around a small thing, I could do some sewing. So, okay, we take and we get something that goes good with this, and we sew it to it, half of it, right, on each side, over here. And then, on top of it, like when you open it up, you measure across there, and then you could put the same size up above it and go all the way across, so it would make your square bigger. But I kind of like them standing on their own, so I don't want to get too technical is my point. I've been looking at a lot of videos. All right, so my throat is going to give me trouble because my liquid is not in here. I tried some liquid that I put in there the other day, and it doesn't do well with me. So electrolytes, and I think it has caffeine in it, but those things don't work good for my little self. So anyway, I believe this is one of the, I've got to make 3 blue backs. Put that over there. In other words, the quilt that I was just trying to finish, that I've been experimenting on, needs I've got one blue mug rug type thing and 3 reds. Well, I need 4 blues and 3 reds. And that'll give me that extra layer, which would be only 72 inches. So really for a tall person, my 2 grandsons are both over 6 foot. They might need it even longer. So I might have to make more, but I do have the material to do it with. I just have to cut some more batting out. The only batting that I've got over here is, it's not big enough for what I need. So it was more like scraps, and it was just so close, but I think I'll cut it into 6 by 6 squares. But you can tell my voice needs some water. I just love that. I love it, love it, love it. So I've got more strips to cut. I mean, I've got more squares to cut from strips. See how pretty. And there's that many of them. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 6-inch strips that I can cut some of these. And it seems like 1, 2, I get 5 out of those. So that's 25 more of these. Anyway, pretty cool, pretty cool. And yes, I would have had those on that quilt if I had this material. But anyway, I do think the squares are going to be a good thing. And then the other thing is, do I want to just sew the squares together and put it on a batting after? I think that I'm just going to do what I did. And I think it'll be nice. I hope. I saw something similar. I was thinking about the very same thing, you know. These coasters that I made could be sewn together and made into a quilt too. Of course, it'd probably be stiff. I don't know how this is going to go. I hope. Okay. Do, 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 do. Yeah. You don't be persnickety. You just do an array of beautiful colors. It's just that you could get carried away. If I just had access to some really pretty stuff for not too much money. But I have been putting it, I put a heart on it. So they're keeping track. They put it on a list. And then if that goes on sale, maybe they'll send me either a text or an email. I think it's a text. But those are going to be really cool. Well, listen, I know I've talked way too long, and I spaced out already once, so I'm going to say I need to go. You guys take care. Yes, I love you so. Just take care of yourself, okay? And we can't always be happy, but we can try. We can try. So, you guys take care.